Knock it off, Todd.
I think Amber's been pretty clear about how she feels. I'm nothing like my dad. I want to be just like you.
I've fought to keep this planet safe. Your power's got to be due any day now, son.
Morning! I'm scared, Dad. What if I can't do this?
Follow me. Slow down. Land. I said land. Stop! Get up.
I'm actually getting used to this a little.
That's not good.
You need to be better. After everything he's done, how can I live up to all that?
You need to decide what kind of hero you want to be.
That was you in the blue and the yellow.
Why don't you meet the team after school?
May we count on you in the future?
Yeah, I think so.
And bored of this.
Son, we need to talk. What I'm about to tell you will change everything.
I wasn't ready before. Now I am.
You being a superhero is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Now take me flying or I'm gonna tell everyone you're invincible. Sorry, not sorry.
Welcome to the periodic table of
Invincible! Bah!
awesome.
You're not supposed to
No,
do that.
it's in.
Yeah. he's
And
supposed to sit there and go to the cutaway of like, oh, we're going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And then the title card comes up.
Where the periodic table of awesome.
Sorry, not
We are
sorry.
a holding screen with our name and some blood splattered across it.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is
Wow,
it
that
just
got
me
dark.
or does it get bloodier each episode?
It gets bloodier every
Yeah, I
episode.
thought so.
Yeah.
Wait, this show or the one that we're talking about?
Oh.
Yes. Yes, the periodic
I was
table
like-
gets bloodier every episode.
I was like, this is not what I signed on for. Chums.
It's a fight to the death, and it's
Yes.
going to be great.
Yes. Hi, I'm Dion.
Kick all your
Hi.
asses.
Oh, no. Shit. Jill's going to kick all her asses, and I'm Quinny. So I'm going to clone myself so that there can be two of me or more, and they can fight Jill.
Do like a Quinny jutsu thing.
Put-
Like they do in it. Yeah.
Wait, that's Naruto, and that's a whole other series that I promise I'll probably watch one day when people tell me
Oh,
after
wait,
just
no.
cracked a
Avatar.
knuckle.
No.
Dupla Quinny, we'll call you.
I'm down for this. The
Oh,
more
no.
of me, the better. Hang
His,
on,
his,
no, that's
his
not true.
name's going to be Dupla Mate.
Yes.
Not Duplicate.
I like it. Yes, Duplamate. Hi, I'm Jill.
Hi, Jill. And you down there. Who are you?
I'm Peter, and I don't want to have my ass kicked.
Oh.
And I'm also a little bit concerned about the descending violence of the content we're watching on this show.
What are you talking about? This is a children's animated series that is very bright and colorful. And
Children's.
Totally.
How old are these children's?
just go with it.
And hello to everyone in the chat down there. And yes, Casper, I tell you, if I watch Naruto before I watch Avatar, you will hunt me down. And I will be like, no, I'm gonna go. Oh, I'll come back next week. And be like, God, I love Boruto. That was a great sequel to Naruto. And you'll be like, no.
Boruto is actually great.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that Casper will find you and he will kill you. And you know, and Tigers in Space. Well, 3/4 of us. Hang on, Jill, have you seen Avatar?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm never going to watch Avatar out of spite. Not at you, Casper, but at somebody else that
Jesus.
really wanted me to watch it, and I'm just never going to watch it because I don't like them anymore.
And oh wow, Jesus. Peter, are you going to join
Don't
us?
have any specific feelings about Avatar. I'll watch a couple of episodes. It's fine.
Okay. Now, when we talk about Avatar, we are talking about Avatar as in
The Last Airbender.
and not
the James
Avatar,
Cameron.
The Blue
movie
Cats.
series.
Oh, come on, but they're coming out with like 6 more films. I'll watch those.
We'll review those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will we?
Yeah.
Probably. Uh,
But it's underwater.
yeah.
Oh man, James
So-
Cameron makes me sit in my chair for way too long.
Yeah, but usually he gives you a good reason to stay there.
James
Like
Cameron,
this-
the director who gives,
Titanic, enough
gives
said.
everyone piles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Okay. And yes, one day,
Poor Peter.
Casper,
Sorry. It's my sake.
I will lead a team, and we will delve into the realms of Avatar, and we will talk all about the Last Airbender. We may
Yes.
even go into the Legend of Korra. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. All right.
Maybe Casper should just be on that show.
You know what? Let's do that.
I just won't. All right. Well, what are we doing today, people?
What are we talking about tonight?
Because
though?
last week was
Not
combat week,
Amazon.
and I'm exhausted. I'm having to fight around the world last week.
Oh yeah, fighting around the world.
Fucking everything. There was drama. There was terrifying '90s movies that people had to watch. There was emotional resolutions to television series. There was everything.
Yep.
There was
It
a
was a big
fucking
week last
Australian.
week.
It was a big
It's a
week.
big week.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
glad I
in-
did nothing on the weekend.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
needed to recover after that.
I was sick for the second half of the week, so I was like fucking like doing a lot of editing and trying to get a whole bunch of shit out the door, and I was like, I'm tired. Fuck combat week. I'm sick of you, combat week.
Die combat week.
Yeah, I'm gonna rip your spine out.
Come on, Quinny, we had that in the
Finish it.
we had that in
Yeah.
the schedule for at least 10 minutes before we went to air. Well,
Yep,
we should do
it's gonna be a
combat week.
great
Yeah,
time.
that sounds fun. I just make something up. Fuck it.
Yeah. And we'll do this, yeah, and we'll do this, and we'll do this. Yeah.
And we'll bump
And we-
this show, which is this show that we're doing.
Yes.
Tonight,
Tonight we are talking about the Invincible. I am Invincible.
Invincible. Away
Yes.
we
Robert Kirkman's Invincible on
Yes.
Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Just
absolutely.
to bring it back.
No, very good, very good. So, Dion, you
Yes.
said before that you have read the comics.
I have. So I didn't bother watching the television series because the television series is the lower form of art. Literature is indeed the higher purpose that we all serve. No,
Dion's like, read the book.
Yes, it's you fuck you guys. You can't read.
Once again, ennui all over the place.
Sure. Yeah, I have read the comics. So I think I am what anyone else read the comics? Anyone? You?
I've
You?
read
You?
precisely one issue of it
Yeah.
because I looked at it and went, "Oh, that looks interesting," and everybody's talking about it. I read one issue and I was like, "Looks like superhero stuff." I have other things to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Got
have
real
seen
superheroes to read.
exactly
Yeah.
2.75 episodes
Okay.
of this series because that's all I could cram in when I realized I had committed to something and forgotten about it.
Well done.
I mean, I will say we will forgive you because it was your birthday last Friday.
It
Yes.
was.
And you know
And
who
then on
else's
Saturday,
birthday it was?
And then on Sunday.
Yeah.
No one else.
Yes,
there was
that is
no
true.
no one else had a birthday over that weekend. No, can't think of anyone.
Certainly not on the same day.
No.
Definitely
Some
wasn't
reason.
Peter's
Probably
birthday.
The better of the birthdays.
Yes, absolutely.
It must have been the better of the birthdays because I wasn't invited to the party.
Oh.
Oh,
I
okay.
just piggybacked on your party.
Yes,
What I
but
do.
you brought the best of the cookies,
You
so
did.
your
Oh my
piggyback
God.
was well received.
Yeah.
So
Rita
uh,
baked for her own party. What a legend.
yeah, amazing.
It wasn't actually my party. It was Dion's party.
It's your party, and you can
It's
bake if you
joint
want
party.
to. Bake if you want to. Bake if you want to. But also the baking that you did, the cinnamon scroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting a
yes.
little
and that is damn right, Predicanga, because whose birthday was it actually on Friday? That is the most important birthday. It's John Cena.
John
Cena!
Me, Dion, and John birthday triplets for way back.
Yeah.
Yes. Thing is, like John was at the party, just nobody saw him.
Yeah. It's also.
How
Okay.
old did John Cena turn on Friday?
I think he's the same age as me. Fuck, I don't know. How old is John
That's
Cena?
terrifying.
John Cena. How old is John Cena? Yep, he's the same age as I. Dun, 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 dun. I just like to say, like, he comes to me for advice on his diet and exercise regime. Anyway.
Yes. Yes, he does. Anyway, we're talking
what
about
not to eat.
Invincible.
Invincible.
What is Invincible?
What is this Invincible thing about?
Invincible is the son of Omni-Man, an extraterrestrial superhero of the Viltrumite race. I had to get that wrong, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Invincible inherited his father's superhuman strength and ability to fly and has sworn to protect the Earth. As a teenager, he has trouble to adjusting to his newfound powers and coping with the reality of his origins. And the origins are what it's all about. But we ain't there yet, so let's talk more about this series, which is pretty cool, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm really digging it.
I'm going to just put my cards on the table straight up. I dig it. I'm into it. I'm watching it, and I'm very, very excited for this week, which will be the final episode.
I actually wasn't
this
keen
season.
to start it because I thought it was just going to be like a Harley Quinn animated thing where it was like ultra violence and like dirty humor. And I'm like, we've had it, like, I don't know. But when I started watching, I'm like, oh, okay, there's no like ridiculous humor. This is actually kind of like a serious-ish story told in cartoon form, and it's pretty cool. Like, I know we're all superhero fatigued right now, but this is kind of different, I guess.
Oh yeah, like very, very different. And I think it does a really good job of turning, all of the tropes and making them just interesting enough that you go, okay, I haven't actually seen it done quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, it knows what it's all about. It's got, a core hero group parroting heroes that we see every day, like The Flash and Wonder Woman and Superman. Like, so it knows what it's doing. But yeah, telling a different kind of story.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is the characters who are kind of the existing superhero team, the Guardians of the Globe, who are very definitely Are they parodying or are they?
You've got an Amazon-looking woman called War Woman and a speedster and a guy that wears a lot of black.
and a guy who's a Martian. He's just called Martian Man.
Yeah.
Look, we all know that the best way to do this kind of stuff, like, is if you want to write about all the Justice League and you just make a new universe and just take the stereotypes and just chuck them in there and give them whatever you want. Like, I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. It's like, oh, I need a Superman figure. Easy, just chuck that one in there. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think Rob in the chat kind of nailed it there. It's not a parody; it's an homage. Like, because it's not actually taking the piss out of them. It's kind of referencing them and saying, hey, these things are like this. But, it's not saying, hey, isn't this funny? It's kind of...
Yeah, everyone knows.
That's a better description.
Everyone knows who you're talking about, and that's why they can run through it like rapidly and focus on the story, which is what the real story is, which is, imagine if your family was superpowered and you've got superpowers, and suddenly you have to deal with being a superpowered individual. And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
And that's part of the story, but like the underlying story is funnily enough, the underlying story is the only story that they have kept going back to for Superman for the past however many years, which is essentially, what if Superman wasn't on our side? That's like by the end of the first episode, and I mean, I'm hoping that this is not spoilers for anyone. But by the end of the first episode, Omni-Man, who is essentially the Superman analog,
J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons.
Who is played amazingly by J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Has turned on the rest of the Justice League and killed them. In the most fucking horrific way. Yeah. That's your starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, And it's a bit funny. Like, I mean, I think there's been some chat in the chat about how it was a bit of a weird first episode. It took a little while to get into until it had that turn right at the end, and sort of gives you this whole thing of, oh, okay, this is not just a straight kind of dull, as a dull superhero cartoon. This is actually something that might go somewhere fun or horrifying, which was kind of the thing. I mean, even though I didn't watch that bit, I was like, oh, it's pretty violent. Like, hey, that's pretty good. Like, not as violent as I think I mentioned that to Peter. I was like, oh, it's not as violent as Harley Quinn cartoon, and she's like, yeah, but that's funny.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't funny.
I think the humor helps in Harley Quinn.
The humor helps a lot for somebody who, I mean, this is not really my genre. If I can at least have a laugh, then that makes it fun.
Yeah.
But if it's just horrendously ultra-violent stuff, it's really hard for me to have any fun watching.
How are you feeling on it now with a bit of breadth in the stories? You're still a little bit...
I mean, look, I actually watched the first episode weeks ago when Quinny said that it was really good, and I just watched the first episode and was like, I don't need to watch any more of this. And it wasn't because the episode was dull, it was because of that last scene. I was like, this is not for me. I'm done with this. But
Fair enough.
I watched another couple over the weekend so that I could chat about it. And this is one of those situations where it's very good and it's not for me.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I totally get that.
I can see that it's very good, but I'm not having any fun.
It does revel in its violence, like, but it does it in a way that I found really interesting. Unlike its stablemate in Amazon, which is The Boys, which is a live action one, and this could very easily have, and apparently is being developed for live action. Yeah.
God, do we really need to have like a billion versions?
No.
It was like as if, they're not going to turn around tomorrow and say, oh, we're going to do an animated Walking Dead now that we've finished live action one. I'm like, please, no, enough.
Yeah. And I actually think this works remarkably well in animation because the bright colors, the simple designs and everything are really nicely done. And which then, when you get to that violence, really kind of juxtaposes it really strongly. Like Invincible himself is getting around in a lovely light blue and a bright yellow, and it's flying around in blue sunny skies and generally looking like he's having a great time.
Yeah, I mean, normally when we see live action superhero stuff, like the default just seems to be gritty and dark. And I can imagine this going the same direction, but I don't think it would suit it very well.
No. I think this would be a little bit like if you were to do something like Supergirl, the live action Supergirl series, and then at the end of it, like have it looking like Supergirl, but then at the end of it, have it turn into The Boys, where it is fucking extraordinarily violent and unpleasant. What I guess what I enjoyed about it, Pete, was the way that it plays with tone. The violence is a thing that you kind of go, oh shit, okay, right. But throughout the course of the series, it does a really lovely job of feeling not like an animated series. It plays a lot more like a live action drama and takes its time and gives you moments of character development and depth and growth, and that was really pleasantly surprising to me. So, yes, my apologies.
The thing that I have enjoyed most so far is actually Sandra Oh's character.
Yeah.
And that they're giving her a little bit of breath, even in the first 3 episodes, to, kind of explore what her life is like. And I love the cast, and I think the performances have been fantastic so far.
I feel sad.
There's a lot to like about it.
I feel sad that you're not going to go back and watch Debbie Grace or Sandra Oh's performance as it continues on through the series, because it's kind of fun.
Look, I might.
Yeah.
I might keep watching. I don't. It's not that I'm not curious about the story. is that I'm finding it a bit of a slog.
Yeah.
Because it's not my thing either. Like, I'm not coming into this with a love of all things comics and superheroes, and therefore that real curiosity about the different way that it's being explored here, which I think, for other genres, that I'm a little bit more curious about. I can get past certain things and just kind of enjoy the craft of it a little bit more. So I'm not saying I hate it, and I'm not saying I'm not going to finish watching it. I'm just not like running off to watch it after we finish this.
Yeah, that's
I probably want to watch something like this, a bit more comforting and less. Ugh.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we've touched on the cast a little while there, but the cast of this is quite fun.
Yeah.
And also very broad, but also very specific, if that could be a way in through that, because it's got some good like main cast, but almost every single person who has been on The Walking Dead gets a voice cameo in here as a character somewhere. And you sort of feel like Robert Kirkman just kind of went, "Hey, I'm going to do an animated thing. Do you want in?" And they're all like, "Yes, absolutely. What do you want me to do?" "No, I need you to play a sadistic panda." "Great, I'm in."
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Sure."
It's funny, as I was looking through the cast, I was like, "Oh yeah," and I kept forgetting that it was actually one of those things where it's like, that's it, they're all Walking Dead members. I was looking at it going, "Oh yeah, cool," and then I was like, "Oh, Carrie Payton, cool, yeah, he's a really great actor," and then I was like, "Oh, hang on, that's right, he's in The Walking Dead." Stephen Yeun, he's an amazing. Oh, that's right, he's in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Oh, Stephen Yeun is great in this.
Yeah.
Like,
Ross Marquand.
teenager
Oscar fucking nominated Stephen Yeun.
Kevin Michael Richardson. Oh no, he's not in that.
J.K. Simmons, Oscar nominated J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He, for me, like it's the thing between him and Sandra Oh, they fucking ground the shit out of this. Like there's such strong performances, and they are just they're not playing it as a cartoon.
No, that's like, this doesn't feel like an animated series. Like, the voice performances are just so convincing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the voice performances were actually given first and then animated too, rather than the other way around. Like, it just feels so natural.
Well, I mean, this is a traditional American style one, so yeah, it would be like performances done first. But I'd nearly have guessed that they would have perhaps put them in the same room, which is unusual. Because the timing, the inflection, the play off each other is so good. I mean, you like whether it be J.K. Simmons and Sandra Oh, or somebody like Clancy Brown and Walton Goggins. Yeah, them playing off each other, like, shit. Okay, it's cast. It's a big cast.
I mean, I can't wait for the future where all actors just turn up for their roles and they're given one of those the ping pong suits. And they just have to, and it just doesn't matter. It's like, but I'm a voice actor. It's like, yeah, but we're mocapping this just in case, because we may just do the animation while you're talking, and we'll just capture that, and you're done. By the way, the episode's produced, and it's been streaming for 20 minutes. It's kind of the workflow situation that's going on nowadays. It's like, hey, come in here. Also, we own your rights and likenesses for the next 3,000 years.
Yes.
Here's your $20. Slides across the table.
So was it the violent aspect of it, Pete, that sort of put you off, or was it okay? Yeah.
I would have, like, it's a great hook at the end of that first episode. I should have been like, fuck, that's interesting, I want to keep watching, but instead I was like, I'm done. I'm done. That's enough for me. Thank you.
It's kind of just that one bit where he's just pauses for half a second, then decapitates a guy with the cross chop, and I was like, that's pretty harsh. Like that was, he stopped there for a second and went, yeah, I'm just gonna kill him this way, I think.
The weird thing is, I'm not super anti-violence. I do watch stuff. I tend to not love it, and often on things I have commented, for example, in The Boys, that like, I love it, don't love the violence, but I'm not like, oh, I can't watch violent things. But there was
But
just
Pete,
something about this.
There was so much shock value to that scene because you didn't see it coming. And then I think like to just be confronted with that ultra violence straight away, and you're just like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like that is definitely like probably what's the most disconcerting about that scene.
Possibly because it also hadn't been the style all the way through, and then it was suddenly ultra violent. Whereas with Harley Quinn, it's like, I know what I'm getting. Like,
Which I think
straight
is
off the
like
bat.
a really good credit to the juxtaposition of the way it's animated and the color scheme that they use, and then like to just throw you in the deep end with like, oh, and this story is fucked.
And also
it kind of like it reminded me of watching something like Sin City, which again I was just kind of like, oh no, this is unenjoyable. I don't like this.
It's really interesting that like it sets it up straight right at the start is that there are superpowered individuals and there are good ones and then there are bad ones, and then the humanity in between is just less than anything, and the main priority in any of these instances when it starts is getting the civilians out of the way because there's going to be casualties. And you know, wasn't the first one when the aliens turned up and they started coming
invasion.
Yeah, they came through that portal the first time, and I was like, oh, only 340 dead, pretty good. So only 340 civilians died in that one. That's a good day. It was like, and you think about it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, right. That's the world they're living in.
And I think it does, like after that, because the first episode is quite a shock because you are kind of just going through it, and Mark's finding out that he's got powers, and suddenly and it's all very tropey. It's superhero tropes from wall to wall. Yay, I've got powers. Now I'm going to learn how to fly. And it's all very bright and colorful. And then you get the massive fucking turn on the end. And you're like, oh, Jesus. And it's whiplash, pun intended. And then the next episode, you start getting more of that kind of darker sense of humor, like the alien invasion that, only 340 dead. But the aliens themselves start aging and dying while they're there. And you're like, oh, okay, right. So there is a darker kind of mind behind it. But then as the series goes on, it like the darkness just gets more and more. It's still bright and colorful, but
it's real dark.
It's
fuck. It's real dark.
And like the characters that get introduced along the way get kind of more and more fucked up, and you're like, oh, that's and they could look kind of silly and they could look goofy, but then there's something about all of them that has an element in them that you're like, oh Jesus, okay.
So like that's a bit of the series is like, it's not about the series, it's about the psychological trauma they experienced along the way. It's our shared experience of trauma.
Look, I think it's an interesting perspective on like behind the scenes of superheroes too, and like having a more sinister undercurrent rather than what we're used to is just seeing like the saving the world kind of vibe. So getting to see like, oh, here's the dark government agency that's covering up all of this stuff, and what really happens when you're a teenager that gets superpowers and how difficult that is.
I just love that he can't land. That's great. It's like he's like, oh, I can fly.
It's gotta be some hard part.
Yeah. And he's getting slowly instructed by his, Omni-Man father, who's just casually walking around, and he's like, it's all right, I can't land, I just crash. It's like, I'm getting used to crashing, and it's like, that's not good. You need to learn how to stop.
And as has been mentioned in the chat, it is interesting that they are 40-minute episodes. Like that's very unusual.
I wasn't expecting them to be so long.
No, and I mean, for a start, costs a fuck ton. Usually animation sits comfortably in the 20-minute range because it's more expensive to produce. So I'm guessing that's why it's only a season of 8. But I think that also kind of gives a little bit more of the feeling of it being like a standard drama a few times. Like, I think it's episode 7. Episode 6, and I'm not going to get spoilery, but I kind of was scrubbing through the episode to get to an ending bit that I wanted to get to, and I was like, fuck, a lot happens in this episode.
Mm.
And I'd realized that there were a lot of scenes and it cuts around and there's a lot going on. And I started to think they probably couldn't do this as live action.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like to do
I mean,
the
their blood
kind of
budget would be just insane.
yeah.
Like, there isn't that much pig's blood around, Quinny.
Maybe.
It would just be a national black sausage shortage.
Ooh.
Ew. So yeah, I'd like Dee, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the comics. How far did you get into reading them?
Well, I will reference it cryptically as the turn. When you start finding out a little bit more about the background of all the characters, specifically, where that came, because I'd stopped before I got to the wrap up, which is going to be, I don't know, maybe series 5 or whatever, before the end of the comics. Yeah,
right,
because it's done. But I mean, this was really interesting. Did I read The Walking Dead? Yeah, I did. I really liked what that was doing in the comics, and I'm really happy that I stopped reading it at about 75. But then this was another series by the same creator, and the TV show Walking Dead was coming out, and I was like, oh, and then he's gone back to do, like, Rob Kirkman's doing traditional superhero stuff, and I thought, that could be good. Let's see what it's like. And then it has the same kind of ultra-violent, but also funny idea. Is here's a Superman, Superboy stereotype, and then it just goes differently, and you're like, oh, it's kind of fun, it's poppy, it's interesting. I think they did a really good translation to the screen, because there were things that the two greatest things I think that the show added was, apart from the faithful adaptation of the art style, was the voice acting is great, because all the characters understand what they're doing, and the music that they add behind some of the exciting scenes actually makes it feel more fun and interesting and kind of actiony. And I like that the story beats are actually quite low. Like they drag you down and they go, this is low. But the music and the voice acting is peppy, for want of a better word. So I kind of was like, that's actually a pretty good adaptation. Like it comes off the page, because the comic feels very comic-y. And they did a good job of balancing it, because the material's fucking dark. It's dark. It's not like The Boys with the, Derek Robertsons or, the artists in those who are just making it like it's real kind of there. This one's more like, hey, isn't it fun to be a superhero? Wow, shit, I've got moral conflict. I am heavily fucked up from this. This is not right.
I find it so interesting that we've hit this point, and now we're starting to get the reaction to superhero stories. Like we've talked quite a bit about the superhero fatigue. In fact, it's in the ticker text. We've hit that point now where we've seen so many different versions of it. Something's got to do something really interesting to make it kind of stand out.
Yep.
And we've done Watchmen, we've done The Boys, which are the anti-hero stuff, where we've deconstructed and things. And I think this is interesting, because this is now going into a different thing again, where it's like, okay, we're going to explore it. We can use the language of superheroes as a shorthand. So we can go, okay, here's your proto-Justice League, here's your Superman, here's your pre-Superman. What if Superman had a kid and Superman had, was a murderer? And now let's play with that, but we can still play with all the tonal stuff of bright, colorful and things like that. It's not a thing that I think would have worked a while ago. And there is a real strong possibility this wasn't going to work for me at all, because I, like a lot of people, I got partway through the first episode and I was like, feels really kind of like we've done this before.
Yeah.
Okay, big monsters, they're attacking the White House. Cool. Yep. And, also, funnily enough, the voices that they had, because it was Kevin Michael Richardson, I was like, okay, we're in comic book land. We're in cartoon land. I know exactly where we're at here.
Yep.
So it took till the end of the episode for it to do something interesting enough to grab you. So yeah, and then the voice work really kind of kicks in. Anyway, do we have a clip, or should we rate it?
Do you want to rate it and then talk about spoilers, and then well, I mean, no, usually you just want to ruin the format. Happy to go to a clip right now.
No,
we're going.
Then we'll do a clip.
We're going straight to the clip. Fuck him. No, that's what Quinny said. No, okay.
Yep, Quinny's fucking everything.
Okay.
Dion, I'd like you to rate it first because I don't want to do it first.
Okay.
So there.
Here's my thinking music.
You got rid of the MKs on the soundboard.
Well, wait, did I?
Maybe not.
Oh
no! Okay, we still got some.
I did
That's
not.
all right.
There's still
I like the nut punch.
Sorry to steal your harp there, Peter. I just needed to use the harp for mine. My rating of this would be, you know what? It's about a 75.
Okay.
Maybe an 80.
Exactly the same as last week.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Peace out. He's done.
Yeah.
Short show's a good show.
Big 90 in the chat.
Who's next? Who's next? Who's up next?
I'm still thinking. I don't know.
Quinny?
Pete, do you have a number in mind? God's sake. God damn it.
Look, I don't want to slam it because I can see that it's good. Just because I don't like it and it's not to my personal taste doesn't mean that it's not a good thing. So I'm going to go in with a 70.
74, Peter. Okay. Well, no, that's
which is high for something that I may not watch.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a thing that is very rare.
Rating.
Okay. No, you're doing a thing that is very rare in that you are able to rate something based entirely on an objective thing of going, I can see it's good, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very difficult thing to say is,
more mature than us, Pete.
Yeah. I don't like it. It's stupid. 10. Fuck it.
Hey!
No. Okay, so Predator has gone a 90.
Quinny is still stinging over 1995 Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Oh man, I have seen so much discussion in the last week over that film, and so many people going, "I know it's not good, but I love it," and I'm like, "I know."
Quinny, are you going to do your rating?
Yeah. Look, I'm. Fuck you. Oh, look, I'm really enjoying it. I love the animation style. I think the violence is shocking, but the violence is shocking in a way that it's meant to be, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't glorify the violence at all. It says this is really fucking nasty, and you should be horrified, and I like that. I'm gonna go 89. Thank you. For fuck's sake. So Ty, we've got a bunch of ratings coming in there.
Ratings.
Is giving it a big 90. Thank you, Dill. Okay, and Jill, have we got a number from you?
Yes, I think I'm going to go 70.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. I think the story itself is intriguing. Like I want to see where it's going. The voice cast is fantastic. I like the style, but I mean, it's not the be all and end all animated series I've ever watched. So, and again with the superhero stuff, I'm like, I think we could have told this story in a different setting. I don't think it had to be superheroes that told this story. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just a little bit ambivalent about like such a saturation of superhero content.
Yeah. And
as much as we're the periodic table of awesome and we just talk about genre, I'm getting a little tired of the genre.
But that's what the whole point of it is. That's why we're talking about fatigue. Yeah. Like at a certain point, it doesn't matter how fucking good it is. If you've had too much of it, you're still going to be like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there is a real point here where we just go,
yeah.
how much.
It's like, oh, another superhero thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Well, let's go just off to a quick clip of when we kind of realize that this is not your, well, I mean, after the first episode, you realize that this isn't your kind of normal superhero show. But this is another one exploring some of the drama that goes on behind the scenes, which is a little bit more adult than we're saying. We're talking about when, what was her name? Sorry.
Eve.
Atom
Eve is coming back to find out what her teammates have been up to while she's been out busy saving some things. So have a look at the clip and we'll come back and talk about it. Very spoilery.
Anyone home? Eve? I thought you were at the funeral. I was. I'd say you should have been there, but it was pretty bleak. Red Rush's girlfriend had a meltdown and... You okay? Hiccups? Anything happening? Is Rex around? Rex? Eve, hang on a second. You piece of shit!
Babe, wait, hang
I
on!
knew there was a reason you skipped the funeral.
Just wait a second.
Don't even... Oh, God! Are you kidding me, Kate? I can't believe this. Eve. I am such an idiot. Rex said you're dating Invincible now. Said that you guys talked about it. What?
Oh, don't give me that. It's true. What did you expect, huh?
It's not true. And whatever I expected, I guess I was wrong. About both of you.
Hold on! This doesn't mean shit! They're not even the real Kate!
We're all the real Kate.
Okay, I didn't... That's technically not what I... But you know what I mean, right?
Hit me as hard as you can.
Yeah, what happens when you want to date someone who can split into multiple people? Is it a threesome?
You get freaky.
Is it a
Every
threesome?
date night is a threesome.
Or is it not?
Foursome.
Or, what, I don't know, what are we calling that? It's
I don't
It's
know.
a good time for some of them.
Yeah,
But yeah, Jason Mantzoukas in that role, amazing.
Is it an orgy or is it just masturbation? We don't know.
Ooh.
Thankfully, we never have to think about that too hard until now. Let me just turn on the spoilery thing.
I'm just worried because Peter is getting further and further away from the camera.
It's just slowly
and going
moving
more
away
and more
from
into the
camera.
dark.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
talking less and less. And I'm like,
"Ooh,
oh.
I'm out of here."
Okay. I just noticed that you just got smaller into the frame.
Yeah. It's like
I don't have a lot to contribute to spoilers because I've only watched the first 3 episodes, but I don't mind hearing about them. So
Yes, we'll
Okay.
spoil you.
cool. So the biggest
Right.
one is that Omni-Man is actually not a nice Superman person. He's turned up to conquer the planet because his
Yeah.
race is just full of complete immortal assholes. So imagine if
Yeah,
everyone on Krypton was a bastard.
Yeah.
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 Like,
Which
they're all
I think
Zod.
after the murder scene, I'm like, he's not there to save the planet. He's there to take it over.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then his whole story about what the Viltrumites do, I'm like, it's all bullshit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we have to learn how to
Kind
protect
of
them.
pretty easy to read.
We're here to
from
serve
that
you.
first
Nope, we're here to
episode.
dominate you. And if you and you're all scum, and we don't care really because
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
playing the long game.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Predicanga, that is kind of a spoiler for episode 8, but at the same time, that's kind of not the yes, it's the core thing of what's going on in the series, but at the
But
same
if you
time,
don't know that that's what's happening right now, then I'm sorry. But catch up.
like
well, that's why there's spoilers on the screen.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I kind of got that already in 3 episodes. So
Yeah. Like it's not too much, but what it really is and provides great fertile grounds for is like, is he conflicted or is he really upset about this and just going along with it, or is he starting to become tainted by human?
Yeah. Still walking that line.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I thought was something that kind of was getting played out in the Zack Snyder Superman movies was
Yeah.
how far from getting frustrated and turning evil is Superman. And this is a show that's just about, oh no, he comes from a planet where he's been sent to Earth to decimate it and take over or whatever. And instead of doing it in just the normal way, you sort of turn up and go like, well, maybe we can conquer this planet and they can do it. But because we live for thousands of years, sense of time and stuff doesn't really matter. So it's like 100 years to them is nothing. Like, yeah, we'll just see what happens on this planet. I'll fuck around for a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna live a life like this for a while, see what that feels like.
Yeah.
Cool, whatever.
Maybe have a son.
Now
Forget.
he's bred somebody to help him.
Yeah. And what does that mean?
And it's funny because, I mean, we saw a little bit elements of this in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing is, there is nothing new under the sun.
No,
Like,
not really.
No.
You know, everything is a riff on something else. And the question of what if Superman was actually a bad guy? What's that, Brightburn? That's basically a little element of that. We've explored it multiple different times in either the animated series of like Justice League or or Injustice. Yeah, there's an entire comic book series and stuff like that. What if Superman was the bad guy? There is, it's been explored. The question has been asked. It's just how you do it and the tone that you use to actually do it. And there are moments in later episodes that I'm like, fuck, that is actually really intensely creepy. Like there's a bit where Mark's best friend, his gay buddy who has been now seen some really heavy duty shit. Omni-Man sees him and is saying, where's Mark? I need to find my son. And there is just a level of terrifying, cold, you're standing next to a person who can murder you in a thought. And, there is something super really intimidating and scary about those scenes. And you're like, yeah, right. And Sandra Oh's character journey, the mother's, where she stood up to this guy. She has argued with him. She knows when he's right and when he's wrong and has educated him about the fucking world, but also knows that he's potentially a fucking homicidal maniac.
Yeah. And I mean, her character just has like the biggest balls out of everyone in that show to be able to live with someone that has the power to, just end your life in the snap of her fingers. And her discovery of like what is actually going on and confronting her husband who, isn't maybe not who he says he is, that's got to be terrifying.
I know. I love her character because she is
so strong.
Yeah. And even, there's a bunch of characters that initially you're like, oh, that's a pretty easy character. Like Walton Goggins' character, the guy who seems to be in charge of an evil organization.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you're starting to realize, no, they're not that evil. They are just, they're there to keep an eye on somebody who's far more powerful than anyone else should be. And the lengths that they'll go to. Yeah. There's a whole bunch
who creeps me out? Robot.
Oh,
Zachary Quinto.
Zachary Quinto's Robot is like so good.
So good, but then by the time you get to episode 7, I think it is, he creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah.
I don't know whether it happens in the comics, D, but there is a weird thing with Robot and what is it?
Monster Girl.
Monster Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, but you got to. Well, you could write this shit, but you can't say it. The great thing is that they got really good actors in order to play these emotional characters who could work it out in a way that makes it work. Like, I mean, Omni-Man is a great character because he's immediately a father, a nurturing presence, and also a homicidal god within a turn of a minute. And that's amazing. You know, you've got Sandra Oh, who knows how to do emotional conveyance. You've got Steve Ewan, who's plays a really good, innocent kind of happy-go-lucky kid.
Yeah, but has
Really?
enough of the oomph to actually get, the emotional stuff. And is obviously like, and the other thing that is interesting about it is that these are not necessarily people who you would think of as voice actors.
No.
Stephen Ewan is not somebody who I'd go, yeah, let's get him as a voice actor. There are a whole bunch of other, probably more well-known voice actors who do that type of character.
Yeah, but I think to go for such a dramatic tone of the series, you need more classically trained actors rather than voice talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And normally,
and it's not a diss on voice talent because there are people out there that just make a living doing voice acting. But
and it's funny when
there's just more gravitas coming from an actor.
Well, I mean, they are actors. The voice actors are actors.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like, there's a very different style. Yeah, I do. There is a very different stylistic choice in how you do your voice acting as opposed to for something like this, as opposed to doing voice acting for a standard kids cartoon.
So, Quinny, how do you get into voice acting?
Oh, fuck you. First of all, you buy this book called, which is selling on my stall.
I couldn't resist.
You've got something like, the reason I really did kind of turn off straight away is because you do have generic or standard voice actor people doing the superhero stuff. So first up, I was like, okay, it's Kevin Michael Richardson as two big blue monster guys. Yeah. He's doing what he does.
Yeah.
And it took me a while before we got to the point where we were around J.K. Simmons and Sandra Oh and that, where I'm like, okay, no, they're doing a different style here. They're playing it a little bit more chilled. It's a little more human.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah. And I know that within voice actor community would be like, fuck, here come the face actors slumming it in voice actor land. and that is how it's always seen. Whenever they bring in somebody who is a well-known face actor, most of the time they're shit at voice acting. Because there is a very specific skill, and it's all about not using your face, it's about using your tonality. But in this case, I think they managed to get a whole bunch of face actors who are great voice actors.
Yeah. Like, did anyone pick up on Steve, the Secret Service agent that is from the start? Remember, there's this weird thing between Steve and his son, and like they have that little narrative that threads across a few episodes about that guy. That's John Hamm. It's like, let's get John Hamm in to play a kind of side note character across that. It's like, did you call me Dad? It's like, oh, that sort of shit. That's like, brilliant.
And interesting little casting note. Zazie Beetz, who was Domino in Deadpool 2, is in there as Amber Bennett, and the character was completely redesigned from the comic books to look more like the actor playing her.
Oh, cool.
And there is actually quite a few opportunities in there where they've gender swapped characters to try and, even it out a little bit. Like, you don't need to have a whole bunch of dudes in fucking spandex.
No.
And somebody who I've had the pleasure of meeting is Ross, a guy who you would never think of is Ross Marquand. He was, you've never heard of him. He was in Walking Dead for a while. And he's an impressionist.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we had him at a guest at Supernova.
Yes.
And he's super fucking good. But he did the impression of the Red Skull that they used in Endgame.
Oh, right.
When what's his name? Hugo Weaving wouldn't go back and do it again. They hired a guy to do an impression of him.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
So is he
and-
in this show too?
Yeah, he's a few different characters in it.
Yeah, yeah. He's immortal.
Yeah.
You may remember Immortal from the first episode where he gets his head chopped off.
Well, and yeah, he's an interesting character too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, you know, you get your traditional ones in there. There's Mark Hamill in there.
Yes, I heard Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Kevin Michael Richardson. Seth Rogen.
Yes.
fucking
Well, the
in
other
there.
clip that I was going to send you to put in there is Alan the Alien.
Yes.
Who's Seth Rogen for whatever reason.
Oh, Fred Tatasciore, who's and like he's fucking everywhere.
He's the Hulk. He's always the Hulk. Anytime you need a big thing to go, "Brrr," it's Fred Tatasciore.
Michael Dorn.
Yeah. Though one that I did enjoy and was very pleasantly surprised by is Mahershala Ali.
Who does he play?
Titan.
Titan. Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
like that character.
Yeah, so there is a couple of episodes of story arc that's based around a character called Titan.
I haven't even looked at the voice cast to be honest, and I think I should.
Well, I mean, when you look through it, you're like, "Fuck me!" They put a bunch of really big name, and good actors in this. But when you get to
Digimon Hunsu.
Mahershala Ali, you're like, "Oh, okay."
Justin Roiland's in there.
Yeah, yeah. There's an episode where it's like, "Oh, good, they're torturing Morty."
Yeah. Oh no, not again.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh dear.
I'm very, very excited for this last episode.
Yeah.
I believe it drops on Friday.
Ooh, how they're going to wrap up the first season? You don't know.
Violently would be my guess.
Violently, yes. Yeah, you have all these great people, and then you just kick the absolute living shit out of them on screen.
Yeah,
and that's kind of one of the things too. You know, it is quite violent it's psychologically violent and physically violent for the characters, not us. We're just watching it for entertainment.
But I think no. I think Peter's.
Dance.
I think Peter, you would say it is probably psychologically violent.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's meant to be, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, it's very much like The Boys. I'm like, well, you know, it's good, but you've got to be in the mood. You know, you don't want to be in the mood where you're like, I want something cheerful to watch.
Yeah,
because this is not that.
It kind of
Although I
feels...
would say, if anyone is in the mood for something cheerful to watch, the special episode of Mythic Quest that dropped a couple of weeks ago on Apple TV Plus is absolutely delightful.
Ooh.
So if you need a bit of a pick-me-up after watching this horrendous violence, over to that for a bit.
Or just watch Ted Lasso season 1 again in preparation for Ted Lasso season 2.
Yeah,
that is also an option.
Which I am planning to do soon.
Yeah,
Need some wholesome content.
Having seen the first trailer for season 2 of Ted Lasso, I was like, oh,
yeah,
just that little moment of like, oh, it's all going to be okay.
Has anyone worked out how to make the shortbread yet?
Oh, Ted's shortbread.
Ted's shortbread? Anyone?
Pete? I'd expect Peter to be on that.
Oh, but no, I'm feeling a watch party with shortbread served in the future.
Yes.
Only if you
shortbread, please.
Only if you make it with love. The special ingredient.
Sure.
I make everything with love.
You do.
Oh, yeah, you are the sugar wizard, and we do love you for that.
Yes. Oh,
okay,
dear.
so what do we got coming up next week?
Oh, what do we got? Yeah, what do we have coming up? We have an hour review
We're
of
doing
the
Shadow and Bone.
Oh,
yes.
See, I had written down that we're doing a hour-long review of Paul Simon's Hearts and Bones album.
No.
So, Paul Simon it is.
So yes, we are going to. Well done. We are going to be looking at the new Netflix series Shadow and Bone, which is based on a series of fantasy novels, which I'm excited for. It looks.
I
looks
think Peter is very excited about it, just understatedly.
Did I say? Oh.
No.
Oh,
You've
I'm not
just
excited
started watching it already.
Well, I have. It popped up on the top of my Netflix, and I was like, fancy, cool. That's more my genre. I'll check it out. And next week, I'll tell you how excited or not I am about it.
Okay. I'm looking forward.
Admittedly, I have not read the series, so I'm coming into it blind.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm excited just to get a bit of good, well, hopefully good fantasy on our
There's a
screens
few
again.
Victorian-inspired fantasy things rolling around out there at the moment. There's the Nevers coming up, and
Yeah.
also there's the Irregulars, which is one that I haven't actually been able to catch yet. And this one, Shadow
There
and
is a
Bone,
lot.
there
So
is.
much content.
They've just started table reading for the Game of Thrones prequel series about the
Does anyone
Targaryens.
give a fuck?
Prequel series.
No, I'm
Yes.
sorry, Game of Thrones is dead to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
it's
It's-
over.
It
It
has
went
been
out
Who
with a
would care to watch a prequel when you know that that's the ending?
yes, right.
Exactly.
What would be the point?
When you go out with a belly flop instead of a brilliant high dive.
Yeah. What was that picture that was on the internet? That beautiful drawing of a horse, and then it just ended in the freaking stick figure at the end. Like, Season 1 to 4, amazing, beautiful horse, and then it's just at the end.
Actually, I still think if you're going to do any kind of spin-off from Game of Thrones, pick up that short like film, the short trailer, I guess it was, that we got made partway through. It's called Westeros. It was like another 800, 900 years in the future of Game of Thrones, where it was all basically like modern England.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
it had the Lannisters were now a big political house, but it was like in Big Ben, houses of gov.
Yeah.
So move it so it's still fantasy, but it's urban fantasy set in basically modern times, but with the history of Game of Thrones. And I was like, that's a fucking great idea. Going back and doing a prequel, don't care.
I mean, we've got that, and yes, I saw that in there, Casper. Bad Batch is coming soon. Bit more Star Wars action.
Yeah,
Yes.
next week.
Who's watched all the Clone Wars yet? Finish Rebels?
Yep.
Did you finish Rebels, Jill?
I haven't started Rebels.
Damn
I've been
it.
meaning to.
Yeah, season 1 sucks, but the rest of it's great.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, it took
it's
me
okay.
forever to get through Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's true.
But that
and
last
there's-
episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But what about all those filler episodes with Padme in them?
Or the filler episodes with Jar Jar. Ugh.
Yeah, well, there's a
Yeah.
couple of those in Rebels. Don't get too. Yeah,
Mm.
just know what you're in for. That's okay.
Yeah. And who's watched Star Wars Resistance?
Even I was resistant to that one. It's like, yeah, something that may eventually have Poe Dameron in it for a second. That's that series. A series that may have Poe Dameron show up for maybe a minute. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Look, I'm going to
okay.
watch Poe Dameron with mental health problems in Moon Knight, so.
Oh yes. super excited.
And
for
Loki's coming out soon, isn't it?
Yes.
that. Mm.
Like
Is it June or
everything's-
July, that one?
Yeah.
July, I think it is, because they've got to do their Bad Batch thing
I
for
think
a few weeks.
Yeah.
I think it comes out the Friday after Black Widow drops.
Yeah. Black Widow's got to come out. What's the other one that's actually in the can? You know the one that's in the can that's genre that
Shang-Chi.
I'm looking. Oh, yeah, but that's only just in the can. Is June. Fucking released
Oh my
June.
God. Yeah, I would like to
November
see that.
last year was ready to go.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
I'd
just
also
released
like to
June.
see 007 at some point.
Oh yeah, that one's in there. You know
The
what?
only bit of misogynistic
Um,
content I enjoy.
and
Yeah, we got Fast 9.
fuck yeah, because
Oh my God, Fast in Space. Like, can we just...
I absolutely fucking do. There's my one COVID guilty pleasure. I was there. It was during the middle of COVID. Everyone's locked down, and I'm sitting there and went, you know what? Fast and Furious. Let's give this a go. And I could
see
see
what
that
it's all about.
the transition of my mental landscape go from what the fuck is this to the sequel. I was like, this is just bullshit. To the third one, which is like, maybe I like it. And then it just was over a precipice, and I'm like, fucking Fast and Furious, ride or die.
Family.
Yeah,
Family.
now I'm down.
Everything's family.
I'm like Fast and
Oh,
Furious.
and now Dion's brother from another mother, John Cena, is in this one.
Is he? I didn't see him in the trailer.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down for Fast and Furious, and you know what? I'm kind of a little down for Top Gun too.
Are you?
Yes, I am. Because
Okay.
if there were like it was the best homoerotic ad for the Air Force of the 80s. If you ever watch it, it's so great.
Pete, what are you excited for? What's something that is on the horizon that you're actually like, yeah, excited for that?
Besides Ted Lasso.
Damn it.
Yeah, well,
Is it the next Downton Abbey movie?
Oh no.
Oh, Downton Abbey again.
Oh, I haven't even
Too
watched
down to Abbey.
this TV series.
Too down
No,
to
I'm
Abbey.
actually. The new season of Mythic Quest is dropping in a couple of weeks, and
Oh,
I'm
they
actually really
made
looking
another
forward to
one.
it because
Yep.
between the two special episodes that they've done after season 1 wrapped up have kind of turned it for me into like, yeah, I'll watch that again too. I love it.
Oh,
I love
okay.
it very much. It makes
Okay.
me happy inside.
Okay, that's awesome because I watched the Christmas one. Was it?
Quarantine. It
Yeah,
a
the
quarantine
quarantine episode.
It was the quarantine episode, and that one really hit me right in the feels.
That made me cry.
Yep.
Gotta love a show
have
that
a look
cries.
at the one that they dropped a couple of weeks ago. It's just a little. It's like a return from quarantine episode, and they've
Yeah.
done such a lovely. They've done such a lovely job with it. Really, it's just a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoy that series, and I do think it's got so much like what was the Silicon Valley and that kind of sense of humor that it's so insular. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of jokes for people who work in this industry, but it does it in such a good way that you're like, I'm actually into this, and I want to know. I want to see how they do.
Bridgerton
I'm really
season 2.
enjoying the new season of Everything That's Going to Be Okay that's rolling out on Stan at the moment, as well as Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, which is
Right.
also rolling out on Stan.
Yeah.
These are none of the genres that we usually talk about, but just things that
Sure.
I'm enjoying because you asked.
Well,
Yeah.
no, because I think we do like to talk about these things. We like to talk about stuff
Yeah.
that we love and is awesome. And I know that this week we kind of put you into a god awful horror superhero violent thing, and I like to think that maybe we can do things that are also happy and fun and appealing to you as well. Because I know that there's a whole bunch of people out there who love happy and fun and appealing and wonderful.
Sure, and we
as
may
well.
just
These are all things that are happy and fun and appealing, but also pack an emotional punch. So they're not, it's not just candy.
Yeah.
It's candy with substance. I don't know. I can't think of an example of candy
Cake.
with substance.
Yeah.
Cake. It's filling, but it's still
Yeah.
sweet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that I'm really enjoying and seeking out at the moment. So I am also open to suggestions if anybody else has some lovely
Drag
cat
Race
series for me.
It's Down Under starts next Friday. You should watch that. It's on Stan.
Oh yes, the power of Drag Race.
Mhm.
This would be a
What-
wonderful
she's-
time.
What happened?
Something's happened. Is there something in the background? Do you
Are
need
you
to
okay,
talk?
Peter?
Show us a symbol. Do you want us to call someone?
If you do this, we'll call and help you.
Something that I said just activated my Apple Home mini
Oh!
thing, and a man's voice behind me just said, "Uh-huh." It's okay. It's just the male Australian version of Siri that I've programmed it to.
Ooh.
Oh, dear.
Did you need some company, Pete?
Uh-huh.
No, it's because I don't like ordering around a woman. It's not good for the psyche.
Oh,
Good.
so
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
got a
yeah.
man
That's
that you
fine.
tell what to do. I like it.
Yes.
I do love that this week I learned that the entirety of Alexa, and sorry if that fired off anyone's thing, has a whole range of shit jokes thanks to Gail Simone. Gail Simone found out that like you can
What's she
ask
done?
your Alexa to tell you a joke, and then you can
Yeah.
tell it a genre of jokes to tell you, and it has a large selection of poo-related humor. After it just randomly threw up a one about underwears and skid marks, and she's like, "Why the fuck why are you telling me a skid mark joke?" Okay, Alexa, tell me some skid mark jokes. And it's like, oh, I don't do those. Tell me some poo jokes. And suddenly there's this fucking huge list of terrible poo jokes on Alexa.
Oh, Quinny, that sounds like shit.
Yep. It was. And I blame Gail Simone.
You can try
Oh,
that
dear.
one out, D.
Oh, good. Oh,
There you
good.
go.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just more reasons for the NSA to be like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, yeah, I
Just
mean,
making
and
sure you-
honestly, Peter, we and Jill, we owe you for Mortal Kombat. So
Yeah, we
what
really
do you
do.
got?
So-
Like,
so,
what can we watch to do? And if you
Like,
say
your requests are our orders.
if you say 17 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, no, I can't do 17 seasons of Grey's Anatomy.
I will say I have been.
I'll think of something.
I've been watching New Amsterdam, and
Me too. I've been super into New Amsterdam. I've
Yep.
slammed the first 2 seasons. On
I
Netflix.
tried it.
I feel sorry for Casper, who's just quietly fuming, probably in the chat, going, "What fucking Avatar?" We're like, "Yeah, we
Casper
should
knows
watch
how
all
I
of
feel
this
about
stuff."
it.
She was
so
Avatar.
sorry.
Yeah, fuck you.
like, when we finally do Avatar, it is going to be the biggest fucking party the world has ever seen. Like, we may have to do it like as a live show. There may be dancing people. There may be like explosions and all sorts of stuff. And then we'll just be like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Avatar. It was shit.
Yeah, 20 out of 20 out of 100. Didn't grab me.
Just so Casper knows, we may have thought about announcing our podcast for April 1st as being the Avatar series, but we thought it would be too mean.
Yeah, like April 1st gags are hard nuance to comedy about, but that sort of stuff is, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Mess with people. That
So it's because we love you.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, dear. All right, well, next week, Shadow and Bone. Bone up
Shadow
on
and Bone.
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Ralph
Ner.
Boner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your Netflix on, watch a bit of Shadow and Bone, and we'll come back and we'll tell you all about it.
I might go and watch an episode now.
I might
Hey.
too.
You're just gonna fuck off, eh, Quinny? Because there is a whole podcast you've got to edit.
You know what, buddy? In this particular glass house, Mr. I haven't edited 214 Mortal Kombat. I wouldn't be throwing too many fucking stones, okay?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Finish him.
All right, Kano. Get it on.
Fucking pig's ass. You fucking beauty.
Yeah, it's always just...
I just want a super cut of Kano scenes from MK21.
I'm sure that there is one out there now, and
Yep.
you know what? I'm sure that we could probably just ask Josh Lawson and go, "Hey, buddy, can you do them all for us live?"
Quinny, what was your favorite joke
From
Mortal Kombat?
What the bow?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember whether I'd done that on mic or not, but
No, you told us before
okay.
the show.
My absolute favorite moment in it, there is a moment, and it's quite early on where you meet Kano and he's sort of tied up and it's all very silly. And somebody says, "Oh, Sonia, why don't you have a marking?" And she's, I don't have one. And you just hear him in the background off screen, very quiet, go, "Bow."
Very Australian joke. And you're quite right. There's probably people sitting there in the cinema watching it going, "Oh, did someone just do that?" Like,
Honestly, I saw 2 people who said, "I thought it was somebody else in the cinema," and the whole cinema laughed.
Oh!
Because they thought somebody was heckling.
That's great.
And I
I
love
love
the
it, I
fact
love it.
that there is a dialogue editor somewhere who is like, "Fuck it, I'm leaving it in."
Yeah.
Like, we don't see his mouth move. We do not see anything. Fuck it.
This
It's
is why
staying.
you get Australians to do shit. We get shit done,
Absolutely.
and also we make jokes for ourselves. Fuck you all.
Yeah, exactly. You be as shit and you're almost out of it.
Well, this is about the right time to wrap it up. I've been Dion.
I have been Quinny.
I've been Jill.
I've been Peter.
Yay!
You have been.
We've been the Periodic Table of Awesome. See you all next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown.